Hey everybody, it's Mark Schultz and we're live here with another edition of Recovery in Aviation. I'm so excited to be able to bring to you good positive news from the industry about recovery in aviation. Hey, first of all, if you would help us out, if you've joined this live broadcast, would you share it? We got a really exciting guest coming up and we want to get his information out to as many people as possible. So please share this. And also remember, is today we're going to have a special guest, and you'll have an opportunity to be able to reach out to him and ask questions live. All you have to do is ask your questions in the comments section, and it comes to me live, and we're able to talk right here in the LinkedIn video today. Hey, I'm excited to bring this to you because the reality is that there's so much bad news that's out there about the industry today that we want to be the ones that are bringing good news to you. It's difficult to know exactly what's going on. We want to talk about what's happening now, what can you specifically do, and what are really the factors for success, all right? So I'm pleased today to be able to bring to you a special guest in this special midweek edition of our Recovery in Aviation. And as part of our series, I want to introduce to you Captain Zuhair Khashman, and he is the president and CEO of Jordan Aviation Airlines. They're based in Amman, Jordan. Captain, I'm pleased to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening. How are you? Hope all is well.
Yeah, we're doing very good. Hey, I'm really excited to have you here because I've worked a lot in the Middle East region, and Jordan Aviation has a really respected name in that region. And I think people are really going to enjoy this broadcast today. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show today.
It's my pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure to be with you. It's a pleasure talking to you and to be on your show.
Great, excellent. Hey, let's just start out by letting people know what's your position and what is Jordan Aviation doing today. Can you just start out by telling us, what you're doing for Jordan Aviation Airlines and the Jordan Aviation Group?
Sure. Jordan Aviation Group is a group of companies. We have under Jordan Aviation Group, Jordan Aviation Airline, Jordan Alexandria Airline in Egypt, and JAF Technique. It's an MRO in Jordan as well. And I am the president and CEO for Jordan Aviation Group.
Outstanding. Yeah, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Hey, I wanted people to understand a little bit about you and sort of your background. We've had some conversations in the past, and I thank you for doing that. And we share some common background. I've been in aviation all my life since I was a young boy, and I was intrigued, just by a little bit of your story. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into aviation as a young person?
Yeah, sure. Mark, I'm from a family that's actually it's an aviation family. My father, who is the owner and the founder of Jordan Aviation, he used to be a fighter pilot in the Air Force and the Jordanian Air Force, and I used to go with him to the airfields, to the Air Force bases when I was young, to see these fighters aircrafts. I remember the names: the F-5, the Mirage, the Casa, these kind of aircrafts. And then after that, the passion did not stop of being a part of this aviation family. So when I was 14 years old, I used to fly as a glider pilot, and I take a license at that time as a glider pilot. And then I converted my passion to the information technology. So I studied in the university information technology. Then I moved back again to the aviation by taking my commercial and private pilot license, and then starting my career in Jordan Aviation.
Oh, that's great. We have such similar backgrounds. I started flying when I was 15 and a half, and I soloed before I could drive a car. And I had that same passion for aviation developing in myself. And so I know how you feel. I tell people that aviation usually isn't a passion for people like us. It's usually an obsession. We have to be in it. We just can't seem to really get out of it. So I share your passion, and it's so interesting too because I've been in IT a lot of my life in aviation as well, and so I respect that and your background in that area. It's exciting to have that common bond. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. IT now becoming like the real force of aviation, and without IT, aviation cannot sustain, and it became like the mandatory thing for aviation to continue and grow in the new technology that we are facing and we are having. And just for you as well to know, when I started my career in Jordan Aviation, I started as a purchasing officer for purchasing spare parts and material for the aircrafts, and after that to move to the engineering department as a service engineer to make the ADs, SPs evaluation, CMPs, MBDs, all of these deeply related things to aviation, and then passenger services, flight operation, all the way to reach the CEO position.
That's great. And how long did it take you to go from, the early days of being in Jordan Aviation until being the CEO now?
Jordan Aviation had been established in 1998, and I joined Jordan Aviation in 2001.
Okay, so it's 2001.
Almost 19 years. Yeah, almost 19 years.
Very good. Okay, very good. Well, hey, listen, it's really difficult to get good information. And one of the things I like to do when I bring people on the program is I like to get some firsthand knowledge about what's happening in the location where they are. And we don't necessarily always get good information, across the news wires. And I was wondering, how is the current, situation with the COVID-19 and the virus and everything, how is that affecting the country of Jordan right now?
Actually, in Jordan, the government has made a great performance related to the healthcare. We were one of the 5-6 countries in the world that we had managed to take a very stricted measurement and very stricted actions in order to stop the spread of the virus in the country. Thanks God, in the past 8 days, we used to have 0 cases. Unfortunately, today we have 13 cases in one area only, which I think the government and the ministry and the people, the concerned people, they are doing their best to isolate that area and to keep it closed.
Yeah.
That's on the medical side. Sorry, please.
Yeah. Okay. How is that affecting aviation today? I mean, I know that it's affected aviation in a lot of areas. How is it affecting you in aviation?
Jordan is part of the world, and Jordan is affected same as other countries as well, as big as the big countries in the world. Jordan is a poor country compared to the countries near to us, the Gulf region, North Africa, Eastern Europe. However, the economics in Jordan itself, it's before the COVID-19, it was not that good. It was on a very side. The effect on the economic side, on the economic section in Jordan, it's high. There is a huge fight that we need to do in order to grow up and to fight the economic in order to return it back to how it was. But I believe, as being a Jordanian, and because I know the people of Jordan, Jordanian people, they are usually think out of the box, and usually they don't go to the traditional solution. So I believe that if the government will be doing same like what it did with healthcare and the health measurement that it take, if it will take the same way on the economics, Jordan economics will be great. That will lead us to the aviation. The aviation, it's number one sector that had been affected with this COVID-19 situation. We were not flying for the past 2 months almost, only very little flights, cargo flights mainly, and some other very short flights, but it's affected badly, and there is a huge impact on the aviation sector.
Yeah, I see. It's affected Jordan just like anywhere else. It's really too bad to see. But one of the things that I wanted to maybe take some time to talk about is let's understand a little bit, who Jordan Aviation Group is and the different things that are under there, because that helps us sort of understand how it impacts your group and then what you're going to do about that. So tell me a little bit about the Jordan Aviation Group. What companies are made up under the Jordan Aviation Group?
Jordan Aviation Group have 3 companies, mainly the big companies. There's also as well around 4 or 5 companies that they are related to it. However, the big companies related to Jordan Aviation Group is Jordan Aviation Airlines, Alexandria Airline, and JAV Technique, which is an MRO.
Okay. And so I understand that you have 12 aircraft today, and I guess we have a picture up here of one of them. This is one of your birds here. It's a good looking
Yeah,
picture.
it's one of our beautiful birds. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So
Boeing 737-300.
I love your paint job. So any idea, how did you come up with that paint job?
Honestly, our logo used to be very simple. It used to be a white aircraft with only the logo on the tail and the word Jordan Aviation on the fuselage. However, our chairman with the team, they had created the circle, and the circle means, and if you could see on the screen, that the big circle on the tail have JAV, which is Jordan Aviation. The idea of the circles is the continuation of the companies. So the next circle is Alexandria Airline. The third circle is JAV Technique. The other circles are for the other companies.
Okay, well, so nobody would ever know that unless we had that conversation. There's some real thought.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. That's great.
Yeah.
And I understand that you also operate A320s, and we have a picture of one of your A320s here.
Yeah, by the way, this A320, this is the oldest A320 in the world. MSN 0029.
Really?
This is the eldest A320 flying. It's an amazing aircraft. It's from inside, it's brand new. Engines, performance. It's a great aircraft.
So it's the
it's again MSN 0092.
Oh, say that again, please.
The MSN, the serial number for this aircraft is 00092. So this is the oldest A320 flying in the world. This particular aircraft on the screen now.
Yeah, that's interesting. With the CFM 56 engines on it. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a bit of trivia for me as well, because many years ago I used to work at Northwest Airlines, and I had an opportunity to fly from one of the delivery flights out of Toulouse on one of their A320s. And I was fortunate enough that the pilot let me sit in the right seat. And so that's the only time I've ever been able to fly an A320, as I was able to do it from the right seat. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful machine to fly.
Yeah, it really is.
I did some sessions on it. It's a beautiful machine to fly.
I was over, I think we were over Iceland, and I think the pilot told me, just point it over at that big island over there, and so I didn't know too much about flying that airplane, but he at least let me ride in the right seat there and do a little bit of stick time over there. That's great. That's nice. And also, I understand that you also fly one more aircraft type, I guess the 767?
Exactly. This is a 767-200. It's an XL Airlines. It's one of the most beautiful aircraft that we have. It's this aircraft particularly do charters, United Nations operation, and somewhat leasing to other airlines.
Okay, that's good. I think one of the early airplanes, the early electronic cockpits, was that 767, and it was quite impressive. I remember seeing those way back in, I guess in the. Do you know how old that airplane is by chance?
Yeah, this aircraft is around 30 years old. 30.
Yeah, because I remember when those aircraft first came out, it was really the early 67s that had the electronic cockpits, and it was pretty impressive, because there weren't, I don't think there were any others around when those first came out at that time. Yeah,
it's a beautiful machine.
Beautiful airplane.
Moreover, we have the new generation of the aircrafts. Yeah, we have the 330s and the 777s as well.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. So Jordan Aviation Group, you have a scheduled carrier, and you have scheduled carrier operations, you have charter operations, and you have the MRO. Are those? Oh, and then you also have the additional airline, right? Which in the other air?
I did not hear you well. The voice was interrupting.
Oh, okay. So you have the scheduled carrier, Jordan Aviation Airlines. You have the MRO, and you also have the charter operation.
Mark, the voice is interrupted.
Oh, okay. Maybe we have a little bit of a poor connection. Can you hear me okay now? Captain Zuhair, can you hear me? I'll just have a little bit of discussion here, maybe until our.
I'm hearing you now.
Oh, okay, good. I know that.
Now I'm hearing you well.
Okay, sometimes we have a little bit of internet disruption, I know, so that's unfortunate, but that's what happens when we're doing things live. So that's okay. So I know you have Jordan Aviation Airlines, and you have the MRO, and you have the charter operations, and then your other airline operation. Can you tell us your focus primarily up until this year was really on increasing your scheduled operations, right?
Yes, that's true. You know, Jordan Aviation, at the beginning of Jordan Aviation, we started Jordan Aviation based on the concept of doing charters and wet leasing. And wet leasing, it's an ACMI operation that we lease the aircraft with aircraft, crew, maintenance, and insurance. Due to the fact that when Jordan Aviation was established, there was a monopoly for Royal Jordanian as the national carrier for Jordan at that time, that we are not allowed to make scheduled flights to any destination that Royal Jordanian is flying to. So at that time, that shows how Jordanian people, they are creative people. Our chairman and our founder, he converted the way of doing business, and instead of going to a traditional charter, a traditional schedule carrier, to a charter and wet lease carrier. So we started doing our charter and wet lease all the way from 2000 until 2014, 13 almost. And then after that, we started our schedule network. We have up to this moment about 9 routes that we are flying them on a scheduled basis, on daily, weekly basis as well. And we are focusing now on the schedule network. The plan was before COVID-19 that in this summer we will increase the routes all the way up to 12 routes. And now with the COVID-19, that's take us back. So now we are evaluating back again, where are the most economical routes, where the demand will be. And after that, we will re-see again how we will spread our network and make it growing in order to increase the routes.
Yeah, so you had focused on scheduled operations and charter and wet lease operations, and I guess you're seeing that, you know, both of them, of course, are dropping right now. And I understand, I see that it'll be important to reevaluate that mix and to see how you move forward. Hey, Captain, real quick, I wanted to tell you, we have a lot of people watching the program today, and I wanted to thank people for watching today. And we've had some comments and some questions and things, you know, coming in, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. You know, we had somebody jump in and just say that you know, this is really interesting to watch. I appreciate that, Mohammed. Thanks for watching. And then we also have you know, some people that have commented on the A320 and how, you know, it's amazing to see the inside of Jordan Aviation operating one of the oldest A320s with MSN 0092. This is cool. So, you know, we got people that can appreciate that. And then down here, we have a comment from Atef, and I know Atef actually works for your company, but he said, and they're well maintained, you know, through our MRO, you know, JAV technique, which we'll talk about that in, you know, just a minute. And then I have another comment from somebody here, which I'll just point out is we have some viewers in France, and they said they met JAV technique a few years ago doing a Bureau Veritas audit. What is a Bureau Veritas audit? I don't even know what that is, you know.
Bureau Veritas, it's a company related to the French Civil Aviation Authority, and they do evaluation and preparation for airlines to make them ready for the EASA certification. And Jean-Pierre is one of the dearest friends that I have. He used to be the commercial manager in Bureau Veritas, and he managed with us to come and do the audit and the preparation for JAV technique to take its EASA certificate, which they take actually, and they are now an EASA certified company.
Yeah, and I see that you know, safety has always been, of course, you know, very important to you. And you know, we started talking about your MRO here, JAV technique, a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit about your MRO and what you're doing? Are you maintaining your own airplanes? Are you maintaining other customers' airplanes? Just tell us what you're doing today.
JAV technique, it's the beginning of JAV technique was a department. It was the maintenance department of Jordan Aviation. Then we decided that due to the fact of the quality of operation and the quality of the maintenance that they're doing, we decided to move on and to make it as an independent revenue center. So we converted to be an MRO with a standalone company. They are specialized in Airbus A320, They are doing up to 12-year check. They are specialized on the Boeing 767 complete check up to D check, 737s, A330s, A check, 777s, and recently we were working as well with so many operators, engine change for 787s, a lot of customer base that we have, and now mainly with the EASA approval, we will be getting more customer base out from Europe and the Gulf region.
That's really good. That's really interesting. You've really grown a lot in your MRO operations. Can you give me an idea of about how many different customers you have?
Yeah, we have around, up to this moment, we have around 10 base customers. These 10 base customers, they are working almost with 90% of their fleet are maintained by JAF Technique, Jordan Aviation, Royal Jordanian, Airbus in Nigeria, several other companies in the region as well.
That's really good news. I mean, you're really growing that operation. That's great that you're able to maintain your own aircraft and be able to provide some MRO.
And we have an expansion plan for JAF Technique as well. We are.
Go ahead.
And JAF Technique, as I mentioned, we have an expansion plan for it that hopefully in 2021 we will start our building up our paint hangar that will be specialized to be a paint facility in the region, which in the whole region we don't have a paint facility, and JAF Technique will be specialized in painting in the near future.
Yeah, that's really good. I mean, I think it's very important that you're diversified. One first comment, Captain, I have traveled all around the world. I haven't traveled as much, of course, this year, but last year I traveled 480,000 miles, and I visited airlines and MROs all around the world.
That's a big number.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of airlines, they want to go into the 145, the MRO business, but they don't always do it. And so I want to compliment you and your operation with being organized enough and having enough policies and procedures and capability and capacity to be able to not only maintain your aircraft, but to take on MRO activities, because a lot of airlines want to do that, but they don't actually take the next step to get there. So that's really good work on your part.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, another thing I wanted to point out is, let me ask you about this, is that as the market is changing on us, you have 4 different business segments under the Jordan Aviation Group. I know that it's important to diversify when the market is changing and maybe change some of the factors of our business. How are you leveraging maybe your different businesses, or are you changing your business practices and policies maybe into next year to adopt to our changing marketplace? How is your business going to survive? Listen, before you answer that, you've been in operation since '98, and so you've seen all kinds of downturns and you've seen a lot of conflicts in the region, and so you've survived for a long time. Help us understand how you're going to leverage your knowledge from surviving in the past to being able to move forward and adopt to surviving in the future.
Thank you for this question, which will take us to explain more and more about Jordan Aviation. As I said, the COVID-19 situation will change the world. The world that we are living in after this situation is over will not become the same world we used to know. Travel will be different. Maintenance of the aircraft will be different. All our activities will be different. So this is where Jordan Aviation now is taking an advantage of that. We had created our procedures and we had made our own SOP and an own way to come over this situation as soon as the airports will be open. We had managed to make like a very comprehensive standard operating procedure, how to isolate people, how to make protection for people in aircraft, where is the market that we need to concentrate. I believe most of the people, they enjoy travel. And I don't know if you know this information, that the passenger traffic increase in the Middle East region, it's the highest among the other regions. The people in the Middle East, they enjoy to travel and they love to travel, and it's part of their culture. So that's why I believe that in the very near future, after this situation is over, and after we will be able to show the the people and the world what we are doing in order to show them that they are protected and safe while they are flying with Jordan Aviation. And after this situation is over, I believe that the aviation sector will recover, and will recover in a very nice way. That most of the people that they did not make their spring holidays, they will travel back. The summer holiday, they will travel back. The religion holidays, the people will do it again. So I believe that, and I wish that this will happen, that 2021, it will not be a normal year for aviation and for the aviation sector exactly, mainly. It will be a very challenging year, because people will travel more, and people will use aircrafts more. And that will make the big airlines, which the giant people, I call them always, to hold their horses from ordering aircrafts and making orders for huge aircrafts like 380s or 747s or big numbers of aircrafts. And they will be working on the leasing side. So they will focus more on wet leasing aircraft in to their fleets during the high season period, in order not to have the same situation that these people are having now. So what's happening now, part of the difficulties that the airlines is facing with the grounding with their fleet, most of the fleet are leased from leasing companies, banks, manufacturers, and this is a huge cost on them. So, but other airlines who used to have a very short fleet and a very few aircrafts leased by them, and the others are wet leased, they just go to a force majeure section and terminate the lease, and that's where they don't have an overheads over themselves. So I believe that scheduled network will be increased next year, and wet leasing sector will be the highest revenue sector in this industry.
Yeah, I think you're positioned very nicely, to continue your efforts in that market. I wanted to say this again to people that are out there that aren't actively involved in the leasing market or the charter market, is that, there's different types of leasing. There's dry leases where the airplane is supplied, basically leased, just the aircraft, and it's the operator's responsibility to take care of crew and maintenance and, all those activities. But one of the things that Jordan Aviation specializes in is wet leases and ACMI leases, aircraft crew maintenance and insurance leases. And that really uniquely positions you to enable some operators to be more flexible. And so I compliment you in being positioned to be able to do that, because you are in a place where you can help people as demands go up and down in the industry. You can help them by supplying capacity that they may not be able to do without significant capital investment.
True, very true.
Yeah, really, very much so. So it's really good to see that you're, dynamically responding to the marketplace and the market factors around you. We've done a little bit of early work with your safety manager, your safety person, Atef, and we've taken a look at some of your operating procedures that revolve around responding to the coronavirus situation. And I've been quite impressed with the level of effort that you've put into that, and ensuring that you have procedures which reflect the current environment around us today. Dealing with personal protection and ensuring the passengers and crew and everybody are all safe. And you're really creating an environment where people will be able to be comfortable getting back on those airplanes again. And I really see Jordan Aviation moving forward and addressing that quite aggressively. So again, I want to compliment you on the efforts to do that, because if people aren't comfortable, they won't get on the airplanes again.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud of my safety and quality department. They are our first and third line of defense. And honestly, our purpose in this career is to serve people and to fly them safe. And our main objective, as I mentioned before, is to enhance the people and to show them how safe they will be when they will fly with Jordan Aviation.
Okay, good. Hey, Captain, we have some additional questions coming in, so I just wanted to maybe ask a couple things from the questions. I have a question from Ashtush, and he asked, how are the fuel prices affecting, your operation, and maybe how do you project them affecting yourself throughout 2020 and 2021?
Uh, Actually, fuel prices is always being the major and playing the major role in the aviation sector, and unfortunately nowadays we have very low prices of fuel, but there is no aircrafts to fly. All the airports are closed. So unfortunately, however, keeping the fuel on this way and on this level of pricing, that will encourage more and will reduce the prices, of course, and that will help in recovering the market and recovering the operation back again. So we wish that if the fuel price could continue the same way, that will be the nice tool and the most attractive tool to rebuild up the confidence in the market, because the confidence can be built based on two factors. Number one is the price, and number two, the safety and the security of the passengers. So if we can have both of them, and the Jordan Aviation, we had managed to have the second one, which is the security and safety by the personal protection and the SOP that we are doing. So we wish that to keep the fuel prices in the same way, and if we manage to have them both together, we will rebuild up the market here in Jordan faster than other markets.
Yeah, and we all know that maintenance and fuel make up the largest cost of operation of an airline. And so if that one major factor, fuel, could continue to be low as we go forward, that will definitely help your operations. That's a good question. I want to go to another question that I have from a colleague down in Brazil. Actually, when I do these broadcasts, we have people all around the world. So it's really nice, that we have technology that we can really do this, because people can, reach out, all the way from different countries, to be able to ask you questions. And so we have a question here. Maybe we could just put this one up. And we have a question here which basically says that, everyone's saying it's going to take a long time for the aviation sector to normalize and return to success. From experience, how do you feel about how quickly that will happen? Do you think it'll happen this year, or are we looking into next year? I know that, listen, first of all, I want to say it's impossible to predict this. All right. So you cannot be right. All right. We just want to know your opinion on this situation. Okay.
It all depends on the vaccine, Mark.
Yeah.
If the vaccine is as we could see that from the news, we hear a news that it will be in July. There is another news that it will be in September. There is another news that it will be in December. So in all cases, 2020 will not be that good year for aviation. But from my point of view, that the operation and the situation in aviation sector in general will have much better, let's say, revenues in 2021, because all of the talks from the medicine companies are saying that the vaccine will be this year. None of them had mentioned anything in 2021. So that's the relief thing about this situation. But again, from my point of view, profitability, we need to forget about it. Okay, we should not ask about profitability for the coming 2 years. But let's say companies will improve this year. I don't believe so, but I believe that as of next year, yeah, things will be totally improving.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so hard to predict, but that's some good words on that. Hey, we have another question here, and the question has to do with freighters. Let me see here, down here. Let's grab that one right there. So there's a question about here. No, that's a different one. Let's grab this one here. This one right there. So question there I had from somebody about freighters. We were wondering if there might be any freighter aircraft in your fleet in the future, or are you flying cargo, or what's your circumstances surrounding the movement of freight with Jordan Aviation Airlines?
Yeah, for Jordan Aviation, as I said, once the lockdown in Jordan started, we immediately start to market our aircrafts to use them either for humanitarian evacuation or for cargo. And we immediately start offering them as a passenger aircraft to carry cargo supplies. And we had managed to do a couple of flights, and there is some more flights are coming. What we are doing right now is normal cargo, and we are using the wide body, the A330s and the 767. We are filling the holds, the cargo side down, and we are putting some cartons in the seats as per the IATA and the EASA regulation that's allowed to put on each row, let's say around 200 kilos of boxes with some nets on them. That's the safe and the legal way to do that. We are, yes, offering our aircrafts. We are working with one of the companies in Europe to convert two aircraft, A320 and the 767, by removing their seats and putting pallets on them to have cargo up and down as well.
Okay, well, how long is that conversion process?
The conversion process, it's 3-4 days. It's not that much, but unfortunately the certification, which is taking time, so it need like 2 weeks to be, because the certification is being made by serial number of an aircraft. So that's where it's not a general certification. So that's why it will take us around 4 weeks to have the aircrafts converted.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I saw something in the news that said that Airbus had come up with some conversion processes for main deck, 320 cargo, and so it must not be like a full cargo conversion. You must be just removing seats and doing, a application of cargo in the main deck. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's actually being done with that aircraft?
Yeah, this is exactly what we are studying and what we are under certification now. The idea is we are removing the seats and the pallet where you put the cargo inside it. The modification says that you need to put it and fit it on the upper side on the passenger area and lock it down near to the passenger seats rails and to build up the cargo inside it. So that's the modification that Jordan Aviation is doing right now.
Okay, all right, well, good. Well, it's also good that you can adapt to the demands out there. And if there's increases in cargo, able to maybe fill the aircraft up with more cargo to offset some of the reduction in passenger loads. That's good. That's a good dynamic response. Hey, we have a couple of more questions that I just wanted to bring out here. So this one here is, let's click on this one. Let's take a look at that. Is aviation, Jordan Aviation Group is a great group. The question to Captain Zuhair is, how does Jordan Aviation encourage passengers to fly after COVID-19? What's your opinion on how you're going to be able to encourage people to re-engage and go back flying airplanes again?
Now, once our procedure that we had created is approved by our civil aviation, which yesterday we did a rehearsal for them, and we had made a demonstration for them, for the civil aviation, to see the exact procedure that we are doing. And once that procedure is approved, we'll immediately start marketing this procedure, and we'll start showing it to the people in order to build up confidence inside the people to travel. And that's the way. And of course, as well, to go to the idea of reducing prices and flying to safe countries.
Yeah, I had another guest from Madrid last week, and our conversation surrounded around not the airline itself, but the destinations. There's going to be a challenge with entry into another country, or there's going to be a challenge with what people do when they get there, as far as like going to hotels or renting cars or getting in a taxi. So it's not just the airlines; it's everybody in the whole industry that has to come together and provide an environment which people are comfortable, moving, again. Yeah. So.
Correct, Mark. I told you the world will not be the same world. We need to change our culture. We need to change our acts. We need to change the way that we used to do. So that's what we want to do, all of us, is to tell the people what to do. It's not anymore the same world that we are living in.
Yeah. Hey, definitely, although I know though, is that one thing is there's a couple of things I keep telling people that has not changed. Okay. Is that, countries are built around commerce and the gross domestic product, and there has to be trade. I mean, all the way back for thousands of years, there was trade across land, there was trade across sea, and rail and across air. And so the demand for commerce, has not gone away and will not go away ever. And the second thing that has not gone away and will never go away is people's desire to travel. People want to travel, and as soon as people can feel comfortable that they can get back on the airplane again, people will travel again. I've spent so much time traveling around the world. I've traveled to the Middle East and I've met some amazing people. Last year, I actually went to see Petra in Amman. Okay. And, it's those kind of experiences in our lives that we would miss if we didn't travel. And so I believe that they have a strong desire to travel. They will return to travel because we want to see people around the world. We want to see sites around the world. We want to be people that connect with other people around the world.
Very, very true. Very true.
Yeah, very much so. Let's see. I think we have a couple of final questions here. Some people are just commenting that, let's take this one here, is that aviation is going to come back. Let's be patient. The Middle East overhaul and maintenance servicing companies will play an important part in this future. I believe that your MRO is going to play an important part in the future, in the Middle East. There's no question about that. Well, that's very good. Listen, Captain Zuhair, we've been online now for about 45 minutes, and I wanted to give you a chance to say any final comments and things.
Before that, I think there is one question. I'm reading it, which is an interesting one. So it's do we believe that converting the A380s will give another chance for its life cycle? I will definitely say 100% true. It's not anymore about capacity, aircraft size, and how many seats it can take. Now, even the 400-seat aircrafts will never ever be taken more than 200 to 250 seats. So it's not anymore about how many seats it has. It's what is the best way to make a self-protection inside the aircraft. And the only chance now for A380s, for 777s, for even the 747s will be converting them to cargo.
Yeah, thanks for addressing that question, Captain Zuhair. I saw that question, but I didn't want to put you on the spot and ask you about A380s because I know you didn't operate them, but you brought that question out anyways. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, very good. Well, listen, I really appreciate all the people that we've had online here today. And mostly, Captain Zuhair, I really appreciate you being willing to take time to come. I know it's your weekend and it's the evening for you. And I thank you for joining us and providing, really such valuable information. It's been quite a pleasure to speak with you this evening.
It's my pleasure, sir. Again, we are all, it's very great pleasure for me personally to talk to somebody with your experience, with your knowledge as well. It had been great conversation that we had. And I wish the best for this market. I'm 100% sure that the market will recover. I'm 100% sure that Jordan Aviation will be playing a big role in the market in the near future.
Yeah, Captain Zuhair, I always tell people that it's resilient leaders that get up from the ground and get back up and get moving, which are involved in the recovery. And so, I appreciate your resilience, your ability to be able to snap back from such demanding situations and to engage in the marketplace and to assess what's happening around you, make adjustments, and to move forward with such great enthusiasm. And so as a leader in aviation, I know that Jordan Aviation is well respected, and I thank you for your leadership of that company.
Thank you, sir. And from this position also, I want to say to everybody and to all the governments in the world that the sector of aviation and tourism, they are the most affected sectors. That's where the governments need to look at them. The governments need to support them. It's the right time to support them. Otherwise, they will lose them. So from this place, I'm sending this message to all the governments, to Jordan, to the region, to the Middle East, that governments need to support their airlines, need to support this sector, need to support the tourism sector, because most of the governments in the region, all their budget is being made and being revenue that's coming from aviation and tourism. So it's now the time that they need to look at them and they need to support them. And thank you so much again. It was really a pleasure talking to you, Mark.
this is a really important message. And so I wanted to make an offer out there today that if they want to reach out to you, if they want to talk to you about maintenance or talk to you about your airline or about anything that we've talked about here today, there is Captain Zuhair's personal email address, and you can reach out to him directly, and he'll be happy to respond to you. You can find him on LinkedIn as well. If you want to reach out to me, you can also find me at this email address, mark@digitalaircraft.org. But the one thing I can tell you is that if you want to find out anything about what we do here at Digital Aircraft, go to Google and put in #DigitalAircraft, and you'll find out everything that we do. But I want to close this broadcast by saying I appreciate all you leaders in aviation that are out there and everybody that's doing so much. Be strong, hang in there, because our industry is going to recover. And it's with your great enthusiasm that we will be successful, and aviation will recover and will return. And so I want to leave this broadcast as I always do and say fair winds and following seas to you, and have a great day. Bye, Captain Zuhair.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Okay.